What if the jokes Jim Carrey told on late-night TV were never just jokes? What if behind the laughter, he was warning us about Hollywood, the media, and the circus that keeps us distracted? Jim Carrey has been dropping hints for years, and it is about time we start paying attention. One of the strangest yet funniest moments of his career happened live on Jimmy Kimmel. What looked like pure comedy might actually have been Jim sending us a secret message hidden inside his jokes. There is a lot to unpack here, especially after the jaw-dropping reaction from Jimmy himself. But first, let's rewind to that wild clip that had everyone buzzing.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
Jimmy went from laughing to looking unsettled, faster than you can say cut to commercial, and you could almost see him thinking, wait, what did Jim just imply? But this is not about some wild conspiracy over a hand sign. I believe Jim was pointing to something deeper and darker than secret clubs. He has been quietly frustrated with Hollywood's glittering carnival for years, and on that couch he practically shrugged and said, "Look, hosts like Kimmel are part of the show, trained to dazzle you while the real story slips away. Picture the Colosseum at the very moment Rome was burning. The modern version is the glowing TV screen, endlessly hypnotic, selling you stories while the real truth smolders in the background."
I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it. It is a strength.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
He said it right to Jimmy Kimmel's face, wrapped in just enough sugar and slapstick to make it untouchable when comedy is the delivery system. The message slips past every defense for anyone who has followed Jim Carrey. This is not surprising. The once wild comic has become a quieter, more thoughtful man, consumed with life's biggest questions. He is chasing meaning. In a world obsessed with noise, a place most people never reach because they are drowning in shallow entertainment, petty politics, and hollow distractions. And where do those distractions come from? The very industry he spent his life at the center of. As Jim himself once said, "I wish everybody could get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of, so they can see that it is not the answer." So is this really about Jimmy Kimmel? Personally, probably not. But Kimmel is without question part of a much larger machine, a group of cultural influencers nudged and guided by powers far above their pay grade. Late-night comedy has morphed into something darker, indoctrination dressed up as jokes, propaganda hidden inside monologues, ideology tucked behind laugh tracks. From the pandemic to the war in Ukraine to the most divisive social battles, the script has stayed the same. Follow the line, push the narrative, and wrap it in compassion. And if you think that sounds dramatic, look at this unsettling clip from Kimmel himself years back. It is a perfect example of how someone can drop a shocking remark without consequence, as long as it comes from the approved side of the political spectrum.
Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy. The poison control centers have seen this spike in calls from people taking this livestock medicine to fight the coronavirus, but they won't take the vaccine, which is crazy. It's like if you're a vegan and you're just like, no, I don't want a hamburger. Give me that can of Alpo instead.
I doubt anyone else could have. gotten away with a remark that cold, especially in the middle of a pandemic, but Jimmy Kimmel in recent years has leaned hard into being the guy who stands firmly on one side of the political divide, gleefully mocking the other. Sure, it gets headlines and clips that spread across social media, but respect, that is a currency. Jim Carrey is not giving out so easily. What stands out is how smoothly Kimmel drifts into controversial territory without ever facing pushback from producers. That is not luck. That is protection. He is part of a media class that works with a safety net, and it is exactly that privilege that makes someone like Jim Carrey raise an eyebrow. Why is it that certain figures get a free pass, perhaps? Because when you are playing for the emperor, the circus is always welcome after all. It keeps the restless crowd entertained while the empire does what it pleases. And that is the very slumber Jim has been trying to wake us from to drive the point home. Here is another recent clip, Jimmy Kimmel making harsh remarks about Donald Trump's death and receiving nothing but applause from the audience.
If those 3 judges he appointed to the Supreme Court take this case and rule against him, he is going to blow a whale-sized windmill out of his... I mean, it might actually... This could be it. Sometimes I wonder, once Trump has been gone and buried on the 18th hole of one of his golf courses, will things get better, or will we have a whole new crop of MAGA brains to deal with?
It is the kind of hollow political comedy that does not unite. It only divides instead of sparking curiosity, compassion, or dialogue. It spreads bitterness and fuels division. And that is the trick. It keeps millions locked into resentment instead of reaching across the aisle, learning something new, or daring to make peace. Of course, Donald Trump himself was never thrilled about being Jimmy Kimmel's favorite target, the centerpiece of endless monologues and cheap laughs during late-night specials. But when you step back, the contrast with Jim Carrey becomes striking. The man who once made the world roar with laughter has turned inward, searching for meaning instead of mockery. And from that perspective, the endless political back and forth looks small. Nothing made this clearer to Jim than the missile scare in Hawaii back in 2018. For 10 agonizing minutes, he believed the end had come, that he was living out his final moments on Earth, and in that brief window of terror, all the glitz, all the headlines, and all the distractions dissolved into nothing. It showed him how fragile and fleeting life really is, and how pointless so much of our noise becomes in the shadow of mortality.
I sat on the lanai and looked out at the ocean, and at that point I started going, okay, well, what can I do with this last moment of time? And I just decided to go through a list of gratitudes, and honest to God, I could not stop thinking of wonderful things that have happened to me and blessings that I've had. So it was lovely. It was lovely, and I got to a point of grace at about 2 minutes to spare when I found out it wasn't actually happening. And all I was planning to do was close my eyes and be thankful, because it's been a good ride.
In the last several years, Jim Carrey's outlook has shifted dramatically, shaped not only by age, but by profound loss. The death of his girlfriend in 2015 forced him to face mortality directly, and in that confrontation, much of what once seemed important began to crumble. Fame, spectacle, headlines. It all began to feel like a carnival, a place you wander through surrounded by fleeting pleasures where almost no one pauses to ask why they are even there. And maybe that is the quiet challenge tucked inside his words: to resist being lulled by every new trend, every manufactured panic, every glittering distraction spun out by the media machine. If we can shake free from that hypnosis, maybe we will glimpse something deeper, something that truly matters. The question is, will we? So what do you think? Was Jim Carrey simply entertaining, or was he trying to wake us up? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the truth hiding in plain sight.